Good morning, second graders. Today is April 2nd. It's a Thursday. And if you haven't looked outside yet, it is a very snowy day outside. I bet if it was regular school hours right now, we would probably be having a snow day. So we're going to go through our learning targets and our worksheets, but just keep in mind that today is also our next Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock. And yesterday we had 5 kids join, so that was a lot of fun. So I hope more kids can join today. All right, so let's get started by going over our reading and writing. So reading and writing all week this week is the same. So you can answer questions about that short story you read, The Watch, and then writing is your informational book all about something that you do know a lot about. Okay, so for math today, it is week 2, day 4, our math target today. It's right there near the end. Okay, I can tell time to the half hour, quarter hour, and 5-minute mark. So you have 4 worksheets that are dealing with time today. I brought something very helpful with that. I grabbed it from our classroom. I brought my big teaching clock along. So if I need to, I'll pull that out to help explain some of these pages. All right, you ready? Let's get started. Okay, so your page for reading today is, because you only have 2 more pages in reading. So this page right here is a cut and glue page. And if you don't have glue, maybe you could just sort it and lay it on top and figure it out that way, or use tape. Tape works too. But what you do is read the sentence and then decide based on the story, The Watch, what side does it go into? Is it true or is it false? Okay. Okay, so here's your writing pages again. Just a review if you are just watching and joining us for the first time today on this video. This is what your writing pages look like. So you have your all about title page, and then your table of contents, and then your introduction page, of course, and then several writing pages with a little box to illustrate. And there's even a spot underneath for the caption, if you didn't notice that. And then at the end, we have our conclusion page. And don't forget on that conclusion page, especially if you've been working on it and might be working on it today, a good conclusion always reminds your readers what you taught them or what you are trying to convince them of, if you remember from opinion writing. So that's what you're working on today still in writing. Okay. For your math pages, here's your first telling time math page. So you just need to look at the analog clock that's on. Analog, of course, is the circle clock. And then write the digital time in the box below the clock where it goes. So let's just quickly go to the next page. Same stuff. This one's to the 5-minute. Okay, so I will do a quick review of how's the best way to tell time. How exactly do you figure out those 5-minute marks? We'll review that. This one's half-hour time. Most of you mastered half-hour time before we left. And then this one is on the hour. So it gives you the digital time, but you need to write the hands in the clock and where they go. The big hand, hour hand, and the minute hand. Okay. Okay, so let's review telling time. All right, so when we tell time to the half hour, don't forget that we always look at the hour hand first. And if the hour hand is in the middle between 2 numbers, our rule is to always go back, right? And then for the minute hand, you just need to look at what number it is and figure out what that number stands for. So if we start up at the 12 and we count around the clock by 5s, then we can figure out without having to memorize what number each stands for, what number each number stands for. Okay, so the 1 stands for the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, or o'clock, or 00. So this time right here, if I look at the hour hand, it's in the middle between two numbers. I always go back. So the first number I will say is 2 for the hour. And then I look at my big hand, the minute hand, and it is on the 6, which I know stands for 30. So this time right here says 2:30. Let's do another one. Okay, here's an example of a quarter hour time. So remember, a quarter hour time, the minute hand might be on the 3 or it might be on the 9. Quarter hour means that there's just 15 minutes after or 15 minutes before the hour that just happened. So on this, it's the same pattern. You're still going to be looking at the hour hand first. Looking very carefully, you can see that it is in between two numbers, maybe not exactly in between, but cool, in between. So we always look back. So that's our hour is 1. And then we look at the minute hand and it's on the 3. So we could know that the 3 stands for 15, or if you're not sure, you can always count. So 5, 10, 15. So this time says 1:15. Okay. And then if we do the other quarter hour, this is a 1:45. That means there's only 15 minutes left until the next hour. So I look at the hour hand first. Always look at the hour hand first. That's your first number you'll say. It's in between the 4 and the 5. So we always go back. So the first number I will say is 4. And then you look at the minute hand and it is on the 9. So if I counted around the clock by 5s, I would land on 9 and that would be 45. So this time says 4:45. Okay? All right. If you have any more questions about telling time, or if you need a little bit more practice with telling time, it's always great to use your own clock. If you have your own clock, like an analog clock at home, just practice by every once in a while. What time is it? Oh, it's 3:20 or 10:30. Practicing that way is a great way to get that skill mastered. Okay. All right, you guys, that's all I had for your instructional video today. Don't forget that Epic is a great resource if you haven't gotten set up on that yet. I myself looked through Epic and read a few books last night. There's tons of stuff on social studies and science on Epic. And if you are itching to do a science project, I know there's a lot of science projects out there for snow stuff. So maybe you would do a snow project today. That would be fun. All right, well, we'll see you guys hopefully at 10 o'clock for our Zoom meeting today. All right, bye-bye.